Let me ask you a question. How often do you get mad at how stupid everyone is? My son is fond of saying, I am surrounded by idiots. If you don't think how stupid everyone is, how about how lame everyone is? Or how annoying everyone is? Or psycho? Or awful? Or useless? Or weak? Or loser? Or small? Or ugly? How about any of those? You ever feel like that towards people? Well, that's kind of coming from a place in your heart of subtly thinking that you are better than everyone else. But you know what? If you think you're better than anyone else, think again. Look what Paul says here in Romans chapter 3, verse 9. What shall we conclude then? Are we Jews any better than the Gentiles? Not really. We have already made the charge that Jews and Gentiles alike are all under the power of sin. You know what? You're not as hot as you think you are. To which the Jews in particular go, no. They thought they were pretty superior to everyone else. Sorry. Paul makes the case in chapters 2 and 3 of Romans that they didn't follow the law of God. However, on the flip side, no one's better than you. To which all the Gentiles say, yes. And the Gentiles were just a fancy way of saying by the Jews, everyone else on the planet who's not a Jew. But Paul makes a case in chapters 1 and 2 of Romans that, okay, yeah, the Jews didn't follow the law of God, but wait, you do follow the law of sin. In other words, everyone is trapped under the power and consequences of sin. Everyone is trapped under the Mavericks wave of sin. I watched this documentary recently called Riding Giants. And the guys who surf Mavericks in Northern California, up near San Francisco, in Half Moon Bay, say that the waves, these 30-foot waves that they would ride, there would be times where they would get trapped under wave after wave after wave, being caught on the inside, not being able to paddle out to the lineup, and the waves would just drive them down deeper and deeper and deeper into this cold, dark, foreboding, hateful, murky, cold water. A couple guys that surf there are a guy named Jeff Clark, who surfed Mavericks for 15 years before anybody else even did. Surfed it by himself. Couldn't get anybody to paddle out with him. And there would be times he would get trapped, and it's just the rocky coast, and just an awful place to get trapped on the inside. And another guy named nickname anyway, Flea, who surfs up there, and he would say that there was one time his leash got caught on a rock on the bottom, and he took 8 waves on the head, and he said it's like trying to do a sit-up with a 200-pound weight on your chest. And that is kind of the picture really that Paul is painting here for all of us, that we're all, Jew and Gentile alike, in other words, everyone is trapped under a Mavericks wave after wave after wave of sin. We're trapped. We can't get out. And here's the ugly truth that God makes us stare at here in Romans chapter 3, is he goes on in verse 10 of chapter 3, as it is written, there is no one righteous, not even one. There is no one who understands, no one who seeks God. All have turned away. They have together become useless. There is no one who does good, not even one. Do you notice the operative words here? No one. So, a huge downside, he points out here, to no one seeking God and no one being righteous is they've all become useless. It's like trying to ride a snapped surfboard. Useless. Once it's snapped, it's done. Goes on in verse 13. Their throats are an open grave. Their tongues practice deceit. The poison of vipers is on their lips. Their mouths are full of cursing and bitterness. Their feet are swift to shed blood. Ruin and misery mark their ways, and the way of peace they do not know, and there is no fear of God before their eyes. Wow, don't they sound pretty awful here? Yeah, that's us. We're all trapped under the power of sin, the Maverick's wave of sin, and you know what? We're going deeper and deeper. He says in verse 19, now we know that whatever the law says, it says to those who are under the law, so that every mouth may be silenced and the whole world held accountable to God. He's in essence saying, hey, after reviewing all the evidence stacked against you Gentiles back in chapters 1 and 2, and now especially you Jews who know the law of God, in other words, everyone, after the reviewing all the evidence stacked against you, what do you have to say for yourselves? Got nothing. Mouth is silenced. I got nothing to say. It says in verse 20, therefore no one will be declared righteous in God's sight by observing the law. Rather, through the law, we become conscious of sin. Compared to your law, God, I realize I am an outlaw. That I'm the one who's stupid and lame and annoying and psycho and awful and useless and weak and a loser and small and ugly. Give me your worst. I deserve it. Let me ask you a question. Are you feeling a little desperate yet? Right now, do you kind of wish someone would come to your rescue and get you out of this? One of the big wave surfers in the world is a guy named Laird Hamilton. I'm sure you've heard his name. It's about everybody has. He's a master at riding big waves of Waimea, Jaws, Chopu, Mavericks, everywhere in the world that he could find a big wave, anywhere over 30 feet, he's on it. Another thing, though, he's a master at is rescuing people. So they do these tow-ins where a jet ski will tow the surfer into the big wave. So they get up enough speed they can ride that big wave. They don't have to paddle into it. So they can ride in on actually a pretty small board. But the thing is, the jet ski, the guy driving the jet ski is always there, not just to tow them in, but to rescue them if they get caught on the inside. And so in this documentary that I was watching, Riding Giants, Laird said Laird not only surfs, but he tows other people in so they can surf too. And he says he always will lay his life, no matter what, on the line to go rescue a fellow brother who's caught on the inside, who's trapped, getting hit by wave after wave. He'll put his own life on the line. And I thought, that is so cool, because that sounds a whole lot like somebody else I know. Remember how Paul said that no one does good? Well, One did. Look at verse 21. But now a righteousness from God apart from the law has been made known, to which the law and the prophets testify. This righteousness from God comes through faith in, here it is, Jesus Christ, to all who believe. There is no difference, for all have sinned and all fall short of the glory of God. And now all are justified freely by His grace through the redemption that came by Christ Jesus. You are now rescued from the Maverick's waves of sin. And now, because of that, in His eyes, in God's eyes, now you're righteous. You're not a sinner. You're justified. You're redeemed. Not only that, now you're smart. You're cool. You're lovable. You're wonderful. You're purposeful. You're powerful. You're a winner. You're big. You're beautiful. Not bad, huh?